she said, "and I love every one of them." And she stopped to kiss him on the hair. "And those are nothing but troubles. I'm going to smooth every one of them away." "If they're troubles, they'll go now," said Hale. All the time they talked of what they would do with Lonesome Cove. "Even if we were to go away, we'll come back once a year," said Hale. "Yes," nodded June, "once a year. I'll tear down those mining shacks, float them down the river and sell them as lumber." "Yes." "And I'll stock the river with bass again." "Yes." "And I'll plant young poplars to cover the site of every bit of uptorn earth along the mountain there. I'll bury every bottle and tin can in the cove. I'll take away every sign of civilization, every sign of the outside world." "And leave old Mother Nature to cover up the scars," said June, "so that Lonesome Cove will be just as it was." "Just as it was in the beginning," echoed June. "And shall be to the end," said Hale, "and there will never be anybody here but you." "And you," said June. While she cleared the table and washed the dishes, Hale fed the horses and cut more wood, and it was dusk when he came to the porch. Through the door he saw that she had made his bed in one corner, and through her door he saw one of the white things that had lain untouched in her drawer, now stretched out on her bed. The stars were peeping through the blue spaces of a white clouded sky, and the moon would be coming by and by. In the garden the flowers were dim, quiet and restful. Kingfishers screamed from the river, an owl hooted in the woods, and crickets chirped about them. But every passing sound seemed only to accentuate the stillness in which they were engulfed. Close together they sat on the old porch, and she made him tell of everything that had happened since she left the mountains. And she told him of her flight from the mountains and her life in the West, of her father's death and the homesickness of the ones who still were there. "Bub is cowboy and wouldn't come back for the world, but I could never have been happy there," she said, "even if it hadn't been for you here." "I'm just a plain civil engineer now," said Hale. "An engineer without even a job." His face darkened. "It's a shame, sweetheart, for you." She put one hand over his lips and with the other turned his face so that she could look into his eyes. In the mood of bitterness they did show worn, hollow and sad, and round them the wrinkles were deep. "Silly," she said, tracing them gently with her finger tips. "I love every one of them, too." And she leaned over and kissed them. "We're going to be happy each and every day and all day long. We'll live at the Gap in winter, and I'll teach." "No, you won't." "Then I'll teach you to be patient and how little I care for anything else in the world while I've got you. And I'll teach you to care for nothing else while you've got me. And you'll have me, dear, forever and ever." "Amen," said Hale. Something rang out in the darkness far down the river, and both sprang to their feet. "It's Uncle Billy," cried June, and she lifted the old horn to her lips. With the first blare of it, a cheery halloo answered, and a moment later they could see a gray horse coming up the road, coming at a gallop, and they went down to the gate and waited. "Hello, Uncle Billy!" cried June. The old man answered with a fox hunting yell, and Hale stepped behind a bush. "Jumping Jehoshaphat, it is you, June. Are you all right?" "Yes, Uncle Billy." The old man climbed off his horse with a groan. "Lordy, Lordy, Lordy, but I was skeered." He had his hands on June's shoulder and was looking at her with a bewildered face. "What are you doing here alone, baby?" June's eyes shone. "Nothin', Uncle Billy." Hale stepped into the sight. "Oh, I see. You back and he ain't gone. Well, bless my soul if this ain't the beatin'est." He looked from one to the other, and his kind old face beamed with a joy that was but little less than their own. "You come back to stay?" June nodded. "My, where's that horn? I want it right now. Old Hon down there's a thinkin' she's gone crazy, and I thought she shortly was when she said she heard you blow that horn, and she told me the minute I got here, if hit was you, to blow 3 times." And straightway 3 blasts rang down the river. "Now she's all right if she don't die of curiosity afore I get back, and tell her why you come. Why did you come back, baby? Give me a drink of water, son. I reckon me and the old hoss ain't traveled such a gait in 5 year." June was whispering something to the old man when Hale came back, and what it was the old man's face told plainly. "Yes, Uncle Billy, right away," said Hale. "Just as soon as you can get your license." Hale nodded. "And June says I'm going to do it." "Yes," said Hale, "right away." Again June had to tell the story to Uncle Billy that she had told to Hale and to answer his questions, and it was an hour before the old miller rose to go. Hale called them into June's room and showed him a piece of paper. "Is it good now?" he asked. The old man put on his spectacles, looked at it, and chuckled. "Just as good as the day you got it." "Well, can't you right now? Does June know?" "Not yet. I'm going to tell her now." "June," he called. "Yes, dear." Uncle Billy moved hurriedly to the door. "You just wait till I get out of here." He met June in the outer room. "Where you going, Uncle Billy?" "Go on, baby," he said, hurrying by her. "I'll be back in a minute." She stopped in the doorway, her eyes wide again with sudden anxiety, but Hale was smiling. "You remember what you said at the Pine, dear?" The girl nodded, and she was smiling now when with sweet seriousness she said again, "Your least wish is now law to me, my lord." "Well, I'm going to test it now. I've laid a trap for you." She shook her head. "And you've walked right into it." "I'm glad." She noticed now the crumpled piece of paper in his hand, and she thought it was some sort of business. "Oh," she said reproachfully, "you aren't going to bother with anything of that kind now?" "Yes," he said. "I want you to look over this." "Very well," she said resignedly. He was holding the paper out to her, and she took it and held it to the light of the candle. Her face flamed, and she turned remorseful eyes upon him. "And you've kept that, too? You've had it when you were wiser, maybe, than you are now. God save me from ever being such a fool again." Tears started in her eyes. "You haven't forgiven me," she cried. "Uncle Billy says it's as good now as it was then." He was looking at her queerly now, and his smile was gone. Slowly his meaning came to her like a flush that spread over her face and throat. She drew one long quavering breath, and with parted lips and her great shining eyes wide, she looked at him. "Now?" she whispered. "Now," he said. Her eyes dropped to the coarse gown. She lifted both hands for a moment to her hair, and unconsciously she began to roll one crimson sleeve down her round white arm. "No," said Hale, "just as you are." She went to him then, put her arms about his neck, and with head thrown back she looked at him long with steady eyes. "Yes," she breathed out, "just as you are and now." Uncle Billy was waiting for them on the porch, and when they came out, he rose to his feet, and they faced him hand in hand. The moon had risen. The big pines stood guard on high against the outer world. Nature was their church, and the stars were their candles, and as if to give them even a better light, the moon had sent a luminous sheen down the dark mountainside to the very garden in which the flowers whispered like waiting happy friends. Uncle Billy lifted his hand, and a hush of expectancy seemed to come even from the farthest star. End of chapter 35. End of The Trail of the Lonesome Pine by John Fox, Jr.